In the early 19th century, the upper-class family lived in a traditional Victorian family style. This social standing for a family in the Victorian era typically meant that the men and women lived close to or luxurious lives. Family with this type of wealth usually meant that the family of past generations had been accumulating a substantial amount of money for years. Some of the upper white-class families were known as aristocrats. Furthermore, typically nobles, dukes, and other wealthy families worked in the Victorian courts. Jobs within the Victorian courts included solicitors, barristers, and clergymen. During this period, some traditional aristocratic families had taken an interest in the industrial sector because of the changing nature of the standard of living. The traditional upper-class family slowly started to disappear. Instead, the new combination of nobles and the steadily growth of a wealthy class comprised the upper section of society. Let's welcome you to the Burton family. This is Arthur Burton. Arthur is currently a manager for the Bank of New York and a landowner. He is the husband of Florence Burton. Him and Florence met at a party, and it was love at first sight. After the courtship, they married 1 year later. On a cold winter night, their first son, Edward, was born on December 23, 1845. He is currently fighting in the Civil War as a Union soldier. On a warm summer day of July 23, 1847, Arthur Jr., also known as Artie, was born. 2 years later, Artie became a big brother as his mother gave birth to his sister, Elizabeth, also known as Beth, on May 26, 1849. While growing up, Edward, Artie, and Beth spent their days playing in the park under the sun. Their nanny, a young woman named Mary, spent the days with them, playing and caring for them. Florence spent her days doing her favorite hobbies. Her hobbies included going shopping for her children, discussing the latest rumors with their friends at tea time, and attending social events. When it came to be that time in their lives, their parents hired a tutor for Edward, Artie, and Beth to learn. However, once Beth reached the age of 14, her schooling was ceased to learn more important things, such as making a home for her future husband. For Artie, he was assigned a private tutor to fulfill his full potential to go to college and become a respectable man in high society. Today is Sunday, April 16th, 1865. We find the Burton family at church.
When the creature realizes that this is the true nobility and consents to be, with his will, his mind, and his affections, the form, the vessel in which the life and glory of God are to work and manifest themselves, he sees that humility is simply acknowledging the truth of his position as creature and yielding to God his place. In the life of earnest Christians, of those who pursue and profess holiness, humility ought to be the chief mark of their uprightness.
After morning mass, the Burtons decide to go back home for lunch. Let's see what happens.
Hello, Mother. How is your day going?
Hello, my child. I'm having a lovely day. How is your day going?
I am having a wonderful day, Mother. I am really enjoying reading this book that I found in my brother's bedroom.
What have I said about reading? I do not want you to read books. They are a distraction for you. They put ideas in that little head of yours.
Yes, Mother, I know, but...
Beth, you should be practicing the piano. I need Margaret to hear you play so you will capture her admiration. And she will arrange for her to courtship for her sons, James.
Mother, I do not want to think about marriage right now. I want to read, learn new things, and explore this country, maybe even the world.
Elizabeth, give me all the books that you have in your room.
No, Mother. They are the only things that I look forward to while living in this household. They make me happy and keep me entertained.
Entertained? Nonsense. Your father gives you permission to live in this house. Don't you dare take his love for granted. The only reason why I give you permission to go visit Margaret's daughter, Anna, is so that you can interact with James. He needs to be charmed by you.
Florence, where are you?
In the living room. Elizabeth, let's discuss this later.
Yes, Mother. May I be excused now?
Yes, you may.
Hello, Florence.
Hi, Margaret.
Oh, hello, Elizabeth, darling. How are you today?
Oh, hi, Mrs. Johnson. I'm doing good, thank you.
Will you be joining us for tea time? Your mother has been telling me all about your piano playing and how I must hear it.
Yes, of course. It'll be a pleasure. Now let me go prepare.
Margaret, are you ready for the tea time?
Oh, yes, I am.
Let's go.
All right. After lunch and tea time, the Burtons returned to church for evening mass.
When the creature realizes that this is the true nobility, and consents to be, with his will, his mind, and his affections, the form, the vessel in which the life and glory of God are to work and manifest themselves, he sees that humility is simply acknowledging the truth of his position as creature and yielding to God his place. In the life of earnest Christians, of those who pursue and profess holiness, humility ought to be the chief mark of their uprightness.
After church has concluded for the day, the Burtons gather around in their dining room for a common meal of savory soup, roast beef with potatoes, vegetables, and bread for supper. As they gather around, the Burton family is about to receive some alarming news. Well, that was a lovely sermon the preacher had to say today. Ah, that reminds me. One of the servants forgot to bring in the paper today, so imagine my surprise finding out from Frank Johnson after the morning sermon what has happened in the country.
What has happened, Father?
The president is dead.
Oh, my!
That's right. Our president is dead, and we didn't know about it for a good portion of the day.
Mother and I didn't know, Father.
Beth, this problem doesn't concern you. I am the man who voted for this household. I voted for Lincoln, and yes, I may have voted for Johnson indirectly by having him as president.
But, Father, what's wrong with the vice president? Our new president, Andrew Johnson.
Son, let me explain.
Boy, you know that policy is not for the dinner table.
Artie, this discussion is for the library. This is going to change things, Artie. I swear by it.
What do you mean, Father? Surely there will be some change, but the unlikelihood of that happening is small. The man was the vice president after all. He'll have similar ideologies.
Son, you must understand. You are my son. It makes us related, but we are not the same person. Just because the man was Lincoln's vice president does not mean that they shared the exact same ideas or the exact same values. They are different men. Those different ideas and values are now in charge of that country.
Of course, Father.
Now, I'm not lecturing you, but you must be vigilant in creating your own ideologies. It's getting late, son. You're leaving in the morning for school, correct?
Yes, Father, you are right. Good night.
Good night, son. Come in. Good night, Father. Good night, Beth. Let's go to sleep, darling. The day in the life of the Burton family has ended. Thank you for joining us.